Shalom and welcome back, guys, and Happy New Year to you. Happy Biblical New Year to you. This is just going to be a very short video. I'm going to give you all the dates for the feast days for the year 2025 according to the Biblical Zadok calendar. So, when are the feast days this year according to it, according to the Bible? Here are the Moedim. These are the appointed times. These are the feast days. Now, if you already know how to observe these days, well, here's the dates for you, okay? And if you are new to this and you don't know, basically these are all the days we take off for the year. And, well, not technically. I put Sukkot at the bottom, which is the entire week of Tabernacle. So going back to it, we request these days off for the year. Okay, the only ones that we're not going to is the wood offering week, for those of you that are new to this. We keep Passover on Tuesday night. And then the first day of unleavened bread is commanded to be off. The last day of unleavened bread is commanded to be off. The day of first fruits is commanded to be off. Shavuot or Pentecost is commanded to be off. And then we have the Zadok calendar's new wine and new oil, which are also Shavuots. They're 7 weeks apart from the initial first fruits. So from first fruits, Shavuot 7 weeks later, then new wine is 7 weeks later, then another 7 is new oil. The day after new oil is Monday for the wood offering week. So it's Monday through Saturday. Now these days you do not have to take off. Yom Teruah is the day of trumpets. For those of you that don't know, we have to take that day off. Yom Kippur is the day of atonement, and it starts from sunset to sunset. It's the only feast day that does that. Then we have Sukkot, which is the Hebrew name for the Feast of Tabernacles. So Tabernacles is typically 8 days long, and just like Passover, we take off the first and the last day. So you would take off the 1st and the 8th of October for these days. So again, the only ones that are not mandatory is the wood offering week and the middle days of Tabernacles and the middle days of unleavened bread, and every Sabbath is off. So that's how the calendar works. That's how we observe the feast days. Now moving on, this is just for you that already know that not to be persuaded by the Christian side, or if you have family members, friends that rebuke you in this very manner of keeping the feast days, because they don't keep the feast days. And these are the reasons why. They point to this passage, they point to many other passages, and excuse themselves. And as true followers of the Most High and the Messiah, his Messiah, we as the remnant, according to Revelation 12:17, we are the ones who do the commandments and believe in the testimony of his Messiah, Mashiachu, his Messiah. Or how the regular Bibles say Jesus Christ. They have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So, for those of us that are believers in Yeshua, the Messiah, we must obey the commandments of God, period. Now, one thing I want to point out about the feast days in general is this is not the time to be trying to convince others, trying to convince family members to keep the feast days with you, to keep Torah with you. We have all year long for that. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying this is not, if for those of you that are already doing this and you have family and friends that don't do this, they try to persuade you to not do this, and so on and so on. This is not the time to waste and try to teach them and make them follow something they don't want to follow. This is for you and your family. This is for you and your friends that keep this. If these people had taken the time around Christmas time, because that's the time to prove it. That's one of the biggest holidays of the year. The easiest ones to give into. This is when their hearts should have been seeking to keep the feast days and withdraw from the worldly feast days of Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and so on. They have these that they always go to, and you cannot be mixing. So if they're going to keep these days, if they haven't made the commitment to stop keeping these days, to stop celebrating them with their children so that they can do the Bible itself, pure and alone, the thing that they claim and the thing that they believe and the reason they go to church and the reason they even have a Bible, if they have a Bible, if they read their Bible, if whatever the claim to their walk is, they need to withdraw from the world holidays, because you cannot be teaching them to do both. You cannot be allowing them to participate with you who don't do these things, and allow them who do these things to just participate with you and be, and celebrate these things with you. And then the next year they're not going to do it because their heart is not in it. Their heart has to be in it. They have to withdraw. Then you can invite them over. Then you can have them over. Then you can talk about it. Then you guys can do this every year and do this as a family and do this as a unit. Do this as your friends. Do it with your congregation. If you don't have one, this is how you'll find one, by starting one. But do not waste your time as the feast days approach, because here we go again, putting all our energy in trying to convince people of something they are not convinced of. And so just don't do it. Save your breath. We know that the feast days are true. We know that the believers of Yeshua are supposed to do these things. So have your peace. Celebrate these with your families and chill. This video is obviously not to be going into very many specifics of the feast days and step-by-step instructions. So once again, there are many videos out there that you can educate yourself in. I have a couple of videos as to why we're doing it on these dates. You can check out my channel and see all the calendar videos and all the proofs of why this is the one and only biblical calendar. And that's why we are using these days on this Gregorian calendar to celebrate the biblical feast days. Other than that, the meanings of the feast days, I do not have videos on that, but there are many ministries out there, and I encourage you to do your own studies and continue to do your studies, even if you already know what these mean, because we should be continually reminding ourselves what these memorials are for. Until next time, guys, shalom and thank you for watching. Hag Sameach.